There's quite a lot has changed since I first dabbling on YouTube with my watches, so I just thought I'd do a bit of an update on where I am. What has remained the same, what's left the collection, and obviously what's joined the collection. So these two never really get worn, ever, and not for a long time. This watch my wife bought me about 16 years ago now, which is crazy. It's very well worn. I don't know if you can see there's a chip in the glass there. It's got quite a lot of marks on it. But I wore it for the first maybe 4 or 5 years daily when I started working. So I got a huge amount of use out of it, loads of sentimental value, and even though it's not worth much, it will. There's no point in selling it, but even if it was worth something, I'd never sell it. So that just stays in the box. Similar to this really, my dad let me choose a watch from his small collection when I was 16, and I wore this from 16 to about 18, 19. Daily, it used to have a metal strap, and I absolutely battered it, and one thing I really regret is throwing that away, because now I can't replace it. But as you can see here, the kind of finish on it comes away, and then it looks silver. It must be steel underneath, I'd imagine. But I wish I'd just kept it, because at the very worst I could have got it recoated or something. So also when I got this repaired by a stupid watch dealer where I used to work, live even, sorry. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a giant fingerprint on the underside of the glass, which is extraordinarily irritating. So at some point I'm going to take this away. Oh, there you go, you can see it there. Take it to a proper watch repair company, get a crystal put in. I probably will wear it again occasionally, not a lot, but occasionally. And again, I'd never ever get rid of this, there's no point. It's got so much sentimental value. And it's got great features on it, right? It's got a day and a date, which is the most common complications and most useful, I think. So we'll do what's joined my collection first. No, we'll do what's left. So what left? So I had a blue Pelagos, and I just found that it was too big. I really enjoyed the aesthetic of the watch, but being 14.5mm and a true 14.5mm with a very flat slab-sided case, and the crystal was completely flat, so it wore very big. Titanium, it wore quite well. It wore quite light, because obviously it's a very light material, and I really like the colour blue. And that was what I wanted from that watch. When I bought it, I wanted it just to be a daily, quite a tall watch. I had a number of issues with it, not only just the size, which started to bug me after a while, but I had the bezel seized on it twice, and then a loom marker fell out the bezel, and I got a full refund on that watch in the end. And I didn't. I got given a brand new watch, and I sold it. Because I just lost faith in the watch, as well as I just started to just not like it as much as I hoped I would, even though I did all the typical research before going out and buying it. So I just found I wasn't able to wear it in as many occasions, because everything was brushed, no polish elements to it at all, so it just wasn't versatile enough for what is really quite a small collection that I have, especially compared to many people out there. So yeah, I got rid of that watch. What else left? I had the original Black Bay 58, so the black dial with the gold elements to it, not real gold, and lovely watch. Really, really liked it. Really nice size. As you can see, I've got the Black Bay 58 blue. And the reason the original one went is because that came along. And we'll come on to that in a moment, but I absolutely love the 58. It's a cracking watch. So yeah, that one left as well. And then most recently, I did sell my Zelos Horizons GMT, probably the watch I've kept for the shortest amount of time. That was always an experiment for me. I always liked the Rolex Explorer 2 Polar, but whenever I put it on, it was just, it wears deceptively large. It's a very big watch when you put it on. It's only about 12mm thick, 50mm lug to lug. So in theory, it's actually smaller dimensions than this GMT, but the dial is so flat and it just wears massive. I tried it on 2 or 3 times, and I just couldn't get to grips with it. So when I saw the Zelos Horizons GMTs, the version 2, with identical colour configuration, I was like, right, I'm going to buy it. I think it cost me about 750 quid. And I really liked it. It came with some decent straps. It came with a nice box, a nice watch roll. There's actually a review, obviously, on his channel about it. And the aesthetic of it's brilliant, but you can't get away from the fact that it's an £800 watch. So when you go and put on one of these 3, or even the Longines, which is very close to it, but it is better, you just feel the difference in quality in the bracelet, in the finishing, obviously in the brushing of the finishing, in the smoothness of the materials, especially with the, even though the Zelos had a fantastic clasp, like the Christopher Ward's, which I'm told from doing research they copied, so a micro-adjusting clasp, which was really good. Using it was a bit of a chore. It just didn't feel nice. And I had hair on the dial, which isn't a problem. I could have got rid of that. But when you look around the edge of the dial, so kind of up here, it wasn't well finished. And it's an £800 watch. It's still cracking value. It's an ETA Elaboré movement. The timekeeping on it was within 1.5 seconds plus a day. No complaints. It was an experiment for me to see if I could be happy in that wheelhouse of watches, but it just didn't work for me. So unfortunately, I did sell that to a chap in America, and I think I made about 150 quid loss on that, but that's not too bad. I'm okay with that. So the most recent acquisition. Oh no, what else stayed? That hasn't changed. I completely gone off on a tangent. So Longines Conquest. I completely forgot. This has been in my collection since it's about 7 years now, I think. I think I mentioned before, I've had this service twice. It's just come back from a service not too long ago, maybe, I don't know, 6-8 months ago, maybe a bit longer than that. And they did a really nice job on it. I used to wear this an awful lot to theme parks. It's taken a heck of a beating in my ownership. I also did some awful experimentation with just brushing, using 3M Scotch Brite pads, and also just some polishing, which was actually fine with Cape Cod cloth. But I really like this watch, and obviously because of the rubber strap, it's really good for, I used to wear it a lot when I went into work, so when you're desk diving, it doesn't get all scratched up, and the clasp is quite small, so obviously when you're desk diving mainly, you're that way down, so that the damage would come here on the watch, and it was a great watch for that, and it's got a ceramic bezel, so it's really hard wearing. There's no point in me selling it. It's probably worth about 500-600 quid if I was to try and sell it. I think I paid about 1,100 for it, but it's got a lot of memories. I've worn it to Florida an awful lot. There's a lot of pictures of my daughter and my wife with me wearing this watch while we're on those holidays, so there's no point in me ever selling that. And then another watch which I've had, this was my first serious watch purchase. So when I always wanted a tag, and we were at Bicester Village, which is an outlet shopping centre in Oxford, for those people who are obviously not in the UK or just don't know. And we walked past a tag boutique, and my wife just kind of went, just go buy one. I was just like, what? So I went to go buy one, and then started doing all the research, and it actually did fail on me. It threaded itself on the crown. But I just kind of realised after doing a bit of research, it wasn't really what I wanted. It was a very, very off the cuff purchase, literally walking past the boutique, which was at a retail outlet, so offering watches at like 30-40% off RRP, which was crazy. But that's tag. And then they actually bought that back off me, or gave me a refund for that. And then I started doing my research, and I bought this. And I was looking at Rolex Datejusts at the time, because I do like a date, and Oyster Perpetuals. But the green elements of this watch, the display case back of this watch, which I've shown on this channel a few times, and the way it was sold to me in the boutique, by the salesman who had the white gloves on, and gave me the whole spiel about the movement, because it's the 8500 coaxial movement, the dial on it that represents the deck of a boat, the way that's kind of inboard, and then you've got the minute track on the outside, and like I say, the small green. It was so much nicer to me than the Rolexes at the time, and I don't regret. You can see I've got no Rolexes here, and I absolutely don't regret the decision to buy this watch instead of the Rolexes that I just mentioned. It's an absolute cracker. I still wear it a lot, mainly for kind of date nights and weddings and smarter occasions, but I'm going out for my anniversary tonight and I've been wearing it for the last 2 days, so it does get reasonable wear and it gets some outings. Again, neither of those two are going anywhere. They just got too much sentimental value, and that's the reason I buy watches, to kind of have experiences with them. So the next one, I guess, is to talk about is this one. So this is the reason that I no longer have my original GMT 58. So I bought a few watches, all my Rolexes, all my Tudors came from the same Fraser Hart in Chelmsford, and when this one came out, the chap who manages the store, who doesn't work there anymore, put one aside for me, because I've always talked about the fact that I like blue watches. I didn't know this was going to be the release, and I called them up, and he the day of release, he said, I knew you'd call. I've actually put one aside if you'd like to come and have a look at it. And as soon as I looked at it, I bought it, straight away bought it. I had both this and my original for a little while, and very quickly, I just like blue, so that is my wheelhouse. And again, I've got a review on this, but the colour of it is so nice when you're in dark situations. So excuse me. It's when you're in dark situations, it really does kind of turn almost navy, and in lighter situations, it just brightens up. It's a very cool, bland dial, really, compared to the old GMT, which kind of had GMT 58, which had flecks of gold in it, and a GMT has flecks of white in it when you put it in the sunlight. But it's just such a nice dimension, and you put it on, and I've got a 7-inch wrist, slightly oval shaped, and I absolutely love it. One of the other nice things about these watches is obviously Bezel Action is just incredible, and a slightly heavy indent when you get to 12 o'clock, so in the dark you actually know you've got back to 12 o'clock. They're really well made with the ceramic ball bearings here, so you get this really nice sound. It's just fantastic. And I wear this watch a lot. I wear this as a daily with my GMT. That was the right time to use GMT. I don't have an issue with the snowflake hands. I think it's a really nice look. And I think what they do really well, obviously being a part of the Rolex group, what they're very good at is creating watches that are going to be timeless. So in 20, 30, 40 years, this watch will still look fantastic. It's not going to age like my Longines probably will. Maybe ceramic will go out of fashion, or that style will go out of fashion. But this will always look good. It's just a very well thought out design. People complain about the rivets. It's not an issue for me. You don't really even notice them when you've got the watch on. But yeah, I think that's an absolute cracker of a watch. And again, not going anywhere. And I just love it. I love it. So that's the reason that I don't have the original anymore. I didn't see the point of keeping both. I could have afforded to keep both, but I wouldn't use both. And then my GMT. Obviously everyone knows about the GMT and the date wheel issue, and obviously I've reported on here as well that I've had the date wheel issue, but I've had it repaired, and ever since I had it repaired I've not had any problems. And what's also interesting is I can wear this and the 58 and I've got no issues with either. 7-inch wrist, and I absolutely love this watch as well. It's just, again, like the 58, it's just a timeless design. I know people complain about the thickness. It's not an issue for me. I ummed and ahed about it for a while, I'm not going to lie. Do I want to sell it, get something a bit thinner? Maybe get another Omega, the Moon Watch, Sapphire Sandwich, tried that on, it's fantastic. Maybe the new Zenith. And obviously you can see it's substantially bigger than the other watch, but I think, again, the aesthetic is just absolutely cracking on it. And what they've done really well with this one compared to the original Black Bays is they've got this chamfer. So the old ones, again, I've done a video on the thickness of this, just go straight across and it makes it look humongous. There you go, because you've got a nick there. And don't get me wrong, it's still quite a tall watch. It's still about 14.5 millimeters tall, 14.7 I think it is. But that chamfer does make a really big difference in the visual height of the watch. And again, it's a very nice action on the bezel. Oh, it's really good. And that's another thing with the Zelos, when you moved the bezel, it was a ball bearing bezel and it was a bit of a shocker to work with. but I absolutely love the aesthetic on this. I like the Pepsi. I like Pepsi more than Coke. So yeah, another watch that I can't see myself selling. If they bought out a 58 GMT, would I add it or would I sell it? I'm not sure. That's something I haven't had to think about yet, but something I'll think about if and when that happens. So that's me for the moment. Obviously, some people might choose to sell all of those and buy one or two very nice watches. I know I haven't even gone through a G-Shock yet, but for me, this is a nice little collection. It's got some decent variety. So another addition is G-Shock. Again, did a video on this very recently. This is a proper beater. Mowing the lawn, doing the gardening, cleaning the car, theme parks, whatever you want. Pick it up and go. Still kind of experimenting with it. I can't see myself selling it. As you can see, it's the blue variant, the Casio Oak, whatever people call it. Pretty small for most G-Shocks. These bits have started to soften up a little bit, so it's more comfortable than it was when I first bought it. I really like the colour combination. It's very legible because it's a dark background with really quite legible hands that offset that. And I'm quite enjoying it. I'm not going to lie. I am quite enjoying it. And you're £100. You can have fun at watches at all price points, right? It doesn't have to be up at the 3, 10, 15, 20, 30 grand, whatever. Work to your budget and just enjoy what you can. But yeah, hello. This is me for the moment. I do still want to add a white dial. I don't know what watch that would be. I do really like the Grand Seiko White Birch, I think it's called, the new, or Silver Birch, the new one. That looks fantastic. I really like the Zenith El Primero, the new one with the white dial as well, that everyone whinges about looking like the Daytona, but it's not for me. I just think it's a fantastic looking watch. And again, this Speedmaster Moon watch, I can't envision myself buying any more high-end watches for a while, but I've got a nice little collection here. These are my two dailies that I kind of move between. This is the one I wear when we've got, like I say, going out for nice occasions. In all honesty, that one doesn't really get much wear anymore. And then if I just need to really pick something up or I'm doing something particularly rough or whatever, I put that one on. So sorry, this has been quite a long video. Any questions, just let me know. But yeah, this is where I am, and I've got to be honest, right now, this is the most content I've been for a while. So just enjoying what I have. Cheers.